guys, we are going to go through our Moodle Space just a little bit today, as a reminder to make sure that we all know where to find the important stuff. Now, we are a traditional classroom, but we are going to submit all of our stuff through Moodle, just to streamline it first a little bit. And this is an example of the screen that we have in our actual Moodle stuff, but it is just an example, so our dates and our class names may be a little bit different. Okay, when you log into our Moodle classroom, it's going to take you to this page. Alright, and right in the center is where all the information that we need is going to be presented every week. Now, I do open each of our episodes the day of class. Okay, so if we have class on a Tuesday, I'm going to open up our Moodle class on a Tuesday. And that goes for any day that our classes might meet. Okay, a couple important things to see. Over here on this side, we have our upcoming events. It's going to give you kind of an insight on what is due when, and it's going to give you an example of recent activity as well. What I really want you to kind of focus on is just the stuff that's in the middle. Okay, first we have our general questions and whatnot form. That's if you have a question about class material. Do we have class tonight? We're not quite sure on a concept that we talked about in class. How's the weather? That kind of stuff. Whatever general questions you have, you would click on here and start a new forum post. You can check your attendance. If you ever notice an error in the way I'm keeping attendance, just let me know. If we click on semester resources, it's going to open up this page for us. And it's going to give us a long list of all the semester resources that I've broken down into two different folders. To open up a folder, you just click on the little arrow right next to it. And in here you're going to see all of our pertinent information that you can refer to throughout the semester, including our syllabus, instructor locator, that's where you can find me any day of the semester. The summary for our big final paper, so you have an idea of what we're working towards, as well as the roadmap, which we've talked about in class a little bit. Just so we have that information on hand at all times. If you misplace it, you can check here. You can always email me too if you've misplaced your syllabus or any of that stuff, but it is available on here. If we click on doc styles, we have a couple doc style cheat sheets in here, okay? And this is here so that you kind of have a starting point for some of the more common doc styles when we start researching it. They are not by any means an inclusive manual, but they do give you a little bit of insight of the differences of the doc styles that we have out there. To get back to the main page of our Moodle stuff, you just click on the class title. It's going to take you right back here. Okay? If we scroll down, we can kind of see how each of our weeks are going to be set up. Right here you'll see past lectures. I do post a digital version of the lecture that we have in class. That way if you miss a class, it's going to be available to you on there. But also in case I went over something too fast, or maybe you want to have a refresher on one of the things that we covered in class, it will always have a digital lecture up here as well. And I post all of the ones that may have happened in the past here too, so you can access them throughout the semester. In our episode 1, the pilot, for instance, I'll give you an example of what you can expect. Okay, so we have the title of that week, we have the dates that it run, we have what we did in class or what we will be doing in class, and then what you are expected to complete for the weeks. So if we're talking about episode 1, for instance, you would be expected to review the syllabus, the lecture, and the episode resources, all linked below here. You'll need to participate in the discussion boards, and you will need to submit your personal analysis. Okay, and right here we have an example of our digital lecture. I'm just going to click on it so you can kind of see what it looks like. Okay, so we are broken up in kind of different pages here. If you look on the left, we have an index of all of the components of the lecture. Everything that we talked about in class is going to be on here. You can navigate through this lecture by clicking on the hyperlinks on the left-hand side. And that's going to take you kind of through everything. Or you can also do it by clicking on the arrows on the right-hand side over here. Okay. It's going to have all of the main key points that we had in our lecture. This one's still, our work in progress. But it's also going to have our assignment details as well. Okay, remember in class I'll always give you a paper assignment sheet, but that's also going to be available on here too. It's going to remind you again everything that you have to do for the week, and it's going to give you the details of that assignment sheet in here as well as when things are due. Okay, and remember to get back to our main page, you just click on the class title. Okay, and that's what our lecture looks like. Underneath our lecture, we're going to have our assignments. For episode 1, we have to do our discussion board 1A, introductions, and B, writing anew. To access a forum, you just click on it, and it's going to take you in here. Okay, and now we're in our DB1A, our introduction form. To add your own discussion, you just click add a new discussion topic, and it's going to open up some fields for you to type into. To reply to somebody else's discussion, you just click on it. It's going to open that up for you. And then if you scroll down, you do have a reply button right there. Okay. And I'm kind of going through this really quickly, so if you ever have any questions, you can email me, call me, chat me up, and I can walk you through it. I can also walk you through it in class too if you have any issues. Alright, going back to episode 1, we have our assignment submission underneath our discussion forums. We do have time release assignments on here, meaning that I create the space for them before the semester starts, and then I put a timestamp on them. So right now this isn't open. Were it open, it would give you a screen right here that says, hey, let's submit that assignment. You find it on your computer, hit submit, and then there you go. And we do have a timestamp on when these are open and also when they close. Remember that we talked about how all of our assignments do close the day they're due at 11:50. So let's make sure that we have our time scheduled so that we get it in there on time. Alright, just a few more things to show you and then we'll be done with this little video. All of our resources are going to be in the resource episode, whichever episode that we're in, and these are going to include all of our assignment sheets and anything in class that was handed out. So your personal analysis essay, the summary that we talked about, and the roadmap as well. I will always have our assignment sheets in here if you have any questions or you missed class or you've misplaced your assignment sheet. Okay. And then finally, if there's any extra credits, it's going to be the last thing on our episode, and you can click on that to access it. At any given time during the semester, we are only going to have 3 of our episodes open, and I do not typically open episodes early. So for the first 3 weeks, there's only going to be 1, 2, or 3 open, and as we move through the semester, I will change them. The last thing that I want to show you is your grades. If you scroll down and look under administration, excuse me, this is going to be grades. Click on it, it's going to take you to your grading sheet. Okay. And remember, this is just an example, so we don't actually have any grades done, but I do try to be very active in our grading, and I try and have everything graded a day or 2 after it's assigned. Of course, as our assignments get bigger, it does take me a little bit longer to dedicate some time to grading them fully. But within a week, you're going to have your grade book updated. Now, the thing here is it doesn't matter what your grade is until we get that final paper in there, because remember, our final paper is worth 66% of our final grade. So no matter if you're getting an A on everything, if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, it's going to tell you that you're getting an F. Okay. If you've got an A on everything, clearly you're not getting an F, but we just haven't earned the points because we haven't done that big paper yet. So if anytime throughout the semester you want to know officially what your grade is, you can email me and I'll be happy to calculate it for you. Okay. And that is our Moodle Space. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a once over in case we're not wholly familiar with it. We did go through it very quickly, so if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll be happy to walk you through it.